Astronomers notice a faint object on orbit screens. It still looks like a technical problem, not a global one. Analyst zooms the trajectory and checks numbers. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. Telescope dome opens under the night sky. The sky is beautiful, right up until it stops feeling safe. Asteroid name appears over rotating orbital graphics. The numbers are simple. Their consequences are not. Scientist compares current path with archived data. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. World map highlights possible flyby corridor. Every update makes the room quieter. Calm city traffic flows as nobody knows yet. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Commuters cross a bridge at sunrise. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Narrator frames Apophis as a low probability threat. The numbers are simple. Their consequences are not. Digital solar system model shows Earth and Apophis. Every update makes the room quieter. Scientist marks a tighter orbit estimate. One line on a chart is enough to change everything. Close-up of handwritten equations and red corrections. One line on a chart is enough to change everything. Observatory team checks fresh telescope images. It still looks like a technical problem, not a global one. Asteroid glints against deep black space. From far away, the setup still looks deceptively calm. Headline draft reads, Apophis 2029 on newsroom screen. The numbers are simple. Their consequences are not. Morning news anchor introduces the story. Once it reaches the headlines, fear spreads faster than facts. Office workers pause around a muted TV. The threat feels distant until the room stops behaving normally. Student scrolls, breaking notifications on a phone. Crowded places become fragile. The instant panic arrives. Astrophysicist explains the distance of the pass. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. Orbit lines bend around Earth in a simulation. Every update makes the room quieter. Family eats dinner while the report plays softly. For most people, the end begins in an ordinary room. Children look up from homework toward the TV. For most people, the end begins in an ordinary room. Coastal fishermen work under a calm orange sky. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Ocean swells crash against black rocks. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Public asks whether an impact is really possible. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Officials gather around a long illuminated table. Every update makes the room quieter. Scientist circles a key date on paper. One line on a chart is enough to change everything. Timeline graphic counts down to 2029. The numbers are simple. Their consequences are not. Telescope tracks the moving object again. The sky is beautiful right up until it stops feeling safe. City skyline glows beneath dramatic clouds. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. International teams exchange data overnight. It still looks like a technical problem, not a global one. Satellites relay measurements across the globe. From far away, the setup still looks deceptively calm. New numbers narrow the uncertainty window. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. Whiteboard curves converge toward one crossing point. One line on a chart is enough to change everything. Newsroom wall fills with animated Earth graphics. The numbers are simple. Their consequences are not. Citizen live streamers point phones at the sky. By now, everyone wants proof with their own eyes. Amateur stargazers set up tripods and telescopes. By now, everyone wants proof with their own eyes. Traffic stalls as more people gather outside. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Command staff watches a giant trajectory screen. Every update makes the room quieter. Astrophysicist quietly removes glasses and exhales. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. Late-night TV host jokes while fear grows online. Once it reaches the headlines, fear spreads faster than facts. Apartment residents refresh social feeds in silence. For most people, the end begins in an ordinary room. Emergency alert draft appears on government monitors. Every update makes the room quieter. Sea horizon darkens under thickening clouds. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Massive rock rotates closer in sunlit space. From far away, the setup still looks deceptively calm. Final observation confirms a catastrophic collision. It still looks like a technical problem, not a global one. Red warning banners flash across the command screens. Every update makes the room quieter. Newscaster drops the word impact for the first time. Once it reaches the headlines, fear spreads faster than facts. Crowded Avenue stops as people stare upward. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Family freezes in front of the television. For most people, the end begins in an ordinary room. Scientist sketches a probable strike corridor. One line on a chart is enough to change everything. World leaders appear on split screens. Every update makes the room quieter. Coastline evacuation sirens begin to sound. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Waves hit harder against the rocks. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Rooftop crowd searches the bright sky. By now, everyone wants proof with their own eyes. Asteroid burns brighter in atmosphere simulations. The numbers are simple. Their consequences are not. People rush into stores for supplies. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Subway platform fills with tense faces. Crowded places become fragile the instant panic arrives. Command bunker prints first emergency maps. Every update makes the room quieter. Astrophysicist stares at Earth on a silent monitor. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. Fireball enters the upper atmosphere. From far away, the setup still looks deceptively calm. Streaking light tears across the sky. By now, everyone wants proof with their own eyes. Drivers abandon cars and point upward. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Apartment windows glow with reflected fire. For most people, the end begins in an ordinary room. Meteor trail roars over the coastline. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Shock front begins to form in the simulation. The numbers are simple. Their consequences are not. Bunker staff brace as countdown reaches seconds. Every update makes the room quieter. Scientist grips the desk and watches the clock. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. Whiteboard marker drops from a trembling hand. One line on a chart is enough to change everything. Terrified crowd runs down station stairs. Crowded places become fragile the instant panic arrives. Blinding impact flash swallows the horizon. After this point, there is no such thing as control. City towers vanish behind white light. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Coastal cliffs erupt in spray and dust. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Apartment power cuts out instantly. For most people, the end begins in an ordinary room. Bunker screens shake under seismic alarms. Every update makes the room quieter. Shockwave races through shattered streets. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Buses slide sideways through debris. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Glass rains inside an office atrium. The threat feels distant until the room stops behaving normally. Subway lights flicker as passengers fall. Crowded places become fragile the instant panic arrives. Scientist is thrown back from the desk. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. Tsunami wall rises offshore. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Port cranes buckle under the incoming wave. Water turns infrastructure into debris in seconds. Fishing boats spin violently in foam. Water turns infrastructure into debris in seconds. Apartment residents push furniture against doors. For most people, the end begins in an ordinary room. Bunker operators shout over emergency radios. Every update makes the room quieter. Blackout rolls block by block across the city. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Stadium shelter doors slam open. The scale of the crisis is only starting to show. Families rush inside carrying bags and blankets. The scale of the crisis is only starting to show. Ash begins to drift through orange light. The city survives only as fragments and momentum. Crater plume climbs into the stratosphere. After this point, there is no such thing as control. Satellite view shows a continent-scale dust plume. From far away, the setup still looks deceptively calm. Firefighters battle sparks in darkened streets. The city survives only as fragments and momentum. Injured civilians line up near medics. The scale of the crisis is only starting to show. Bunker maps lose communications in multiple zones. Every update makes the room quieter. Scientist traces pressure waves on the monitor. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. Whiteboard plan shifts from prediction to survival. One line on a chart is enough to change everything. Newsroom goes to generator power. Once it reaches the headlines, fear spreads faster than facts. Anchor reports missing coastlines and flooding. Once it reaches the headlines, fear spreads faster than facts. Port district disappears beneath churning water. Water turns infrastructure into debris in seconds. Coastal homes break apart in the surge. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Apartment corridor fills with dust and alarms. For most people, the end begins in an ordinary room. Rescue teams crawl through collapsed concrete. The city survives only as fragments and momentum. Helicopter passes over smoking impact terrain. After this point, there is no such thing as control. Shelter volunteers hand out water bottles. The scale of the crisis is only starting to show. Bunker chiefs order evacuation rings farther inland. Every update makes the room quieter. Grey morning reveals a damaged skyline. The city survives only as fragments and momentum. Survivors leave shelters to scan the horizon. The scale of the crisis is only starting to show. Buses convert into mobile aid stations. The city survives only as fragments and momentum. Scientist appears on emergency broadcast screens. Once it reaches the headlines, fear spreads faster than facts. Explanation shifts to ash, climate, and crop risk. The numbers are simple. Their consequences are not. Earth render darkens under suspended dust. The numbers are simple. Their consequences are not. Coast remains violent under endless surge pulses. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Crater rim smolders under a brown sky. After this point, there is no such thing as control. Apartment family rations food by flashlight. For most people, the end begins in an ordinary room. Bunker staff compare global casualty estimates. Every update makes the room quieter. Hospital tents rise outside the shelter. The scale of the crisis is only starting to show. Military trucks roll through silent avenues. The city survives only as fragments and momentum. Astronomers' salvage data drives from the observatory. It still looks like a technical problem, not a global one. Telescope dome stands damaged but intact. The sky is beautiful, right up until it stops feeling safe. Whiteboard fills with long-term survival notes. One line on a chart is enough to change everything. Farms wither under dim, filtered sunlight. The impact does not end with the blast wave. Supply convoys cross empty highways. The city survives only as fragments and momentum. Emergency teachers calm children in cots. The scale of the crisis is only starting to show. Scientist explains temperature drop and crop failure. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. Animated atmosphere traps dust worldwide. The numbers are simple. Their consequences are not. Refugees queue near mobile kitchens. Survival becomes a problem of patience and supply. Bottled water becomes a guarded resource. Survival becomes a problem of patience and supply. Bunker economists model cascading shortages. Every update makes the room quieter. Surviving port workers salvage floating containers. Water turns infrastructure into debris in seconds. Coastline is now an altered broken edge. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Apartment roof hosts a tiny radio antenna. People start measuring hope in radio signals and light. Rooftop residents listen for relief updates. People start measuring hope in radio signals and light. Astronomers estimate orbital fragments in deep space. It still looks like a technical problem, not a global one. Space debris glitters around Earth in simulation. From far away, the setup still looks deceptively calm. Ash settles over abandoned playgrounds. The city survives only as fragments and momentum. Communities organize work crews and watch shifts. Survival becomes a problem of patience and supply. Engineers restart a damaged power substation. The city survives only as fragments and momentum. Greenhouse tents appear beside the shelter. The scale of the crisis is only starting to show. Scientist teaches children with a rough star map. The future returns only when someone starts teaching it. Whiteboard becomes a lesson on survival science. The future returns only when someone starts teaching it. Bunker leaders coordinate nations still connected. Every update makes the room quieter. Radio operators patch voices across continents. Every update makes the room quieter. Port cranes lift aid pallets instead of cargo. Water turns infrastructure into debris in seconds. Coastline survey drones map new flood lines. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. City murals become memorial walls. The city survives only as fragments and momentum. Astrophysicist records a message about warning systems. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. Observatory team restores one working telescope. It still looks like a technical problem, not a global one. People cheer when lights return to one district. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Apartment family eats a hot meal after weeks. For most people, the end begins in an ordinary room. Children plant seedlings beneath translucent plastic. The future returns only when someone starts teaching it. Months pass as dust slowly thins. From far away, the setup still looks deceptively calm. Crater Lake begins forming in the giant scar. After this point, there is no such thing as control. Researchers visit the rim in protective gear. After this point, there is no such thing as control. New satellites watch the sky for future threats. From far away, the setup still looks deceptively calm. Updated classrooms teach planetary defense openly. The future returns only when someone starts teaching it. Bunker Archive stores every lesson learned. Every update makes the room quieter. Newsroom compares the old world with the new one. Once it reaches the headlines, fear spreads faster than facts. Rebuilt avenues mix scaffolding with traffic. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Coastline defenses rise where waves once broke freely. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Memorial candles line a public square. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Astrophysicist returns to the monitor with steadier hands. That is the moment the danger becomes personal. Restored observatory dome turns toward another object. The sky is beautiful, right up until it stops feeling safe. Global Alert Network lights up in sequence. It still looks like a technical problem, not a global one. Whiteboard now shows prevention instead of panic. One line on a chart is enough to change everything. School children watch a calm planetarium sky. The future returns only when someone starts teaching it. Narrator reflects on how close Earth came. The numbers are simple. Their consequences are not. Archival footage replays the first warning signs. It still looks like a technical problem, not a global one. Citizens move through a quieter, changed city. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Rebuilt apartment window frames a softer sunrise. For most people, the end begins in an ordinary room. Coast remains scarred, but inhabited again. The ocean reacts before most people understand why. Crater rim becomes a monument to impact power. After this point, there is no such thing as control. Seaport ships return under stricter emergency rules. Water turns infrastructure into debris in seconds. Bunker staff run a new planetary defense drill. Every update makes the room quieter. Scientists publish fresh asteroid response protocols. One line on a chart is enough to change everything. Newsroom headline reads, "Never again unprepared." Once it reaches the headlines, fear spreads faster than facts. Telescope captures another harmless passing rock. The sky is beautiful, right up until it stops feeling safe. Star map glows above listening children. The future returns only when someone starts teaching it. City skyline shines under a clear, recovered night. Normal life keeps moving for a few more minutes. Earth rotates peacefully in space once more. From far away, the setup still looks deceptively calm. Final shot holds on the planet and the warning network. From far away, the setup still looks deceptively calm.